Have you cried tears of despair, sorrow, loneliness, wondering how you're going to raise your child alone? I have. I had so many expectations for my life. I thought I would go to university or do what I wanted to do, travel, get married, be happy, and have a happy family. But everything, every area of my life, especially my family, was destroyed. And I got to the point that it was just me, and I was, in a sense, left holding the baby. The relationship completely broke down. That's when I hit rock bottom. The realization of knowing that I was by myself, I hadn't achieved any of the things that I'd set out to do, and I was now going to bring a child up into the world. It's like inside I was crying out for help and I didn't know what to do. I would cry myself to sleep. I would cry in the mornings, and even if I wasn't physically crying, inside there was so much pain, so much hurt from so many things, and now being in this situation I didn't know how to handle. The tears didn't stop for such a long time. The change happened when I realized that things could change, that I didn't have to be unhappy. I was invited to a women's meeting, and I understood that I could be happy, that although the situation had been so difficult until now, being a single mother wasn't the end of the world, that I could achieve everything that I wanted, but for that to happen I needed to start with myself. I started to understand the power of prayer. I started to understand what it was to have faith. I started to understand what it is to invest in myself, and all those things that had been holding me down, the complexes, the insecurities. I started to understand that I can achieve things, and I needed to change my focus from the situation, from my child, to myself, and to use the faith that I had found to put things and my problems into God's hands. So that was the time that I exchanged my tears of loneliness, sadness, depression for tears of joy. Today I can look at my child and I'm proud. I'm proud to be a mother. I have inner peace. I'm happy with myself. I value myself. So I've definitely exchanged my tears of sorrow for tears of joy.
Good evening and welcome to Finding Answers. Now, on tonight's program, we are going to be talking about something that maybe you've heard someone say to you, or maybe you've said that phrase or that statement to someone else. And that is never give up. Never give up. Why would a person want to give up in life? Maybe you have thought of giving up. Maybe you have given up on a life's dream, a goal that you want to achieve. Maybe you've given up on living. Maybe tonight you're planning to end your life. Maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you've given up on finding that dream job, of starting or finding or ever finding the right person for you. So you've settled for someone less, and today, now, you are in a destructive relationship taking you nowhere. Never give up. That's tonight's topic for the program. Let's have a look at today's video explaining more about this.
Have you struggled to stay engaged in an activity that's difficult, that you cannot master the first time you do it? Have you ever had to make a big change in your life? Maybe stopping smoking or taking qualifications. Some people give up trying, and adults even rationalize it by saying that some things are just not meant to be. But why do some people give up after a few discouragements, but others keep trying? People who do persist longer towards their goals tend to be more successful, happier, and more resilient in the face of stress. Every person has developed certain needs and desires as a result of the situations they've been through in their life. While the needs of people differ, they still have one common goal, which is to fulfill their needs. One of the worst ways to give up is to admit that you never wanted the thing you were after. Some people give up on their important goals by claiming that they don't want them badly after all. If a person does give up, then they may start to feel very low and feel that life becomes pointless. Personal development may slow, but try to remember we all face obstacles in pursuing our goals. It could be that you are on the right track, but you've just chosen the wrong approach. So keep going, even if it's difficult. And remember, never give up.
I have here a mirror. Actually, this mirror is Victoria's. Hi, Victoria, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks.
So here is Victoria's mirror. And I want to say this to you. When you look in your mirror, there you go. When you look in your mirror, what do you see? Are you happy with the reflection? So, for example, you look in the mirror, you're not happy with the way your eyes are. Like mine, they're inset. Maybe you don't like the way your eyes are. Maybe your nose is too pointed or too wide like mine. Maybe your ears stick out and you're not happy with the way that you look. And maybe, just maybe, as I said, you're thinking of giving up on life. If you feel this way, you don't like your reflection in the mirror, you're thinking of giving up. You're thinking of, you know what, I can't take it anymore. No one likes me. Then I would like you to pick up the phone now and give us a call. If you feel as though, and I'm not just talking about your looks, not talking about that alone, because you could change your looks. But even if you go for plastic surgery, even if you put on lots of makeup or enhancements, you feel, maybe you still feel down. You still feel alone. You're not content within you. When I look in the mirror, I see the same reflection as I did 20 or so years ago. But today, I am content with the way that I look. I'm happy with the way that I look. I'm at peace with myself. I know where I'm going in my life, in my career, in my goals and things like that. I am happy inside. But maybe when you look at yourself, you even may be pretty, handsome, but you're thinking of giving up on life, literally. So if you feel down, if you do feel depressed, if you feel as though, no one's there to help me, well, you have an opportunity now to get help. At least speak to someone regarding your problem and even receive a prayer right now on the spot. We have a team of pastors ready to take your call. So if you want, there's a number on the screen. It's 0207 686 6300. Victoria, if this person as well wants to send an email related to the program, send in a tweet, what's the details, please?
So if you'd like to send us an email, I'm happy to read that out live on air. You don't have to put your name if you don't want. The email address is help@findinganswers.tv, or you can send us a tweet. Just start your tweet with @findanswerstv, or follow us on Facebook. Just search for Finding Answers.
There you go. So tonight's guest is a young woman who had so much going wrong for her that she didn't get to the point of wanting to end her life. But so much happened, she didn't think that she could ever achieve what she wanted until she got help from God. And you're going to hear more about her story in a few minutes time, actually after the break. And that's where we're going now. So as I said, while we go for the break, if you want to call in and talk to someone, you feel down, maybe have another issue, you can still give us a call. But stay tuned, because after the break, we're going to hear tonight's testimony, tonight's life story. We'll see you after this.
Once upon a time, there was Alice. She enjoyed a drink, her one simple pleasure. She could stop when she wanted, downing a little more for good measure. At work, concealed bottles and extra strong mints were the game. The warm, happy feeling was fading and giving way to shame. The months and days became a blur of hospital lights. Married to a heavy drinker, her prince was charming, apart from the violence, arguments and fights. On the kitchen floor, she comes to. She hears, "Mum, this is hurting me," more than it's hurting you. The alcohol was plentiful but had dried up all the laughter. She sat alone and pondered, can I really have a happily ever after? Living with an addiction is no fairy tale, but a life with addictions is a story that can be rewritten. Addiction Cleansing Therapy. If you are struggling with any type of addiction, speak to us on our 24-hour helpline. Call 020 7686 6000 or head to addictioncleansingtherapy.org to watch the true stories of regular people like Julie who took action to beat their addictions. Act for change. Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort and homework from you.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, we are going to go and meet our guest for tonight. Her name is Anneka Marston.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Anneka, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we hear Anneka's story, if you are going through anything similar to what she's going through, or you feel as though you want help at any time, you can pick up the phone and give us a call. You don't need to wait for us. You can pick up the phone, give us a call, and someone will be there. I know people are trying to call in now. If the phone didn't answer, please be patient, try again, and then we'll be able to give you a call and help you out. All right? So, Anneka, how is everything today?
Yeah, everything's going well.
Yes?
Yeah.
But it wasn't always like that, was it?
No, no.
Can you tell us how things were? Because you had an unstable upbringing.
Yes.
Please tell us, how did it all start off?
It started from a young age where my sister and my dad both went to prison at the same time. So already they were out of the picture and I was left to just me and my mum.
Were they involved together in whatever it was?
My sister and my brother, no. It was for the same crime. It was it was to do with drugs, but they weren't doing the same crime to say. So they went to prison. One had 7, one had 8, so it was quite a long time that they were away. And at the time when my sister went to prison, she had already 2 children.
Really?
Yes. So my mum was left to look after me, plus my 2 nephews.
How old were you at this time?
I think I was about 6.
Right.
About 6.
And they were younger or older than you?
My nephew is the same age as me.
Right.
And my younger nephew, he was only a few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure now on your mum?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened?
She had to look after all 3 of us, and my nan was old. so she couldn't work. What my mum did was left me and my 2 nephews with my nan, and then worked 3 jobs to kind of, you know, keep the house, or our house plus my nan's house, which was horrible because I never saw her. I couldn't do things that normal children would do when they were younger, like go to the park or, you know, family day trips, because my mum was never around and my nan was too old.
So you played the mum in the house?
Yeah.
So would that be early starts, taking them to school, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I would take them to school in the morning. My school was on the way to my nephew's, from my nephew's school. So I would drop my nephew at school, breakfast club, and then make my way to school. Like I said, because my nan was old and my mum was working, I didn't have luxuries where parents would usually take their kids to school. My mum would just send me on the bus.
Right.
So I had to do things from a young age by myself, basically.
Yeah. And how was that for you? When I'm sure, like many guests that we have on who went through something similar, the resentment starts coming. There's those thoughts and ideas. So what was going on through your mind?
To be honest, it was kind of like a routine. For me, I mean, I just grew up knowing, don't ask mum or nan to go out this Saturday swimming with your friends, because it's not going to happen. You know that on Saturdays you help nan with shopping.
Right.
So I programmed myself. It's like my mind was already programmed to not ask for certain things and just know that I'm different from the rest. I only started to ask myself questions when my nan, she was living with a partner, but he was heavily addicted to alcohol and drugs. And there was one day where my mind doesn't allow me to go any further back than at what happened, but I remember he touched me in an inappropriate way. And at first I didn't know what to do, but I did open up to my mum about it. And my mum removed me from the house, from my nan's house, because obviously she didn't want me there anymore because of what happened.
Right.
So that's when things started, you know.
That was for your safety?
Yeah.
Right.
But thoughts started to go through my mind, like, oh, you really are different than the rest.
What do you mean by that, you're different from the rest?
Because I just thought, you know, things like this don't happen to usually happen to people my age. Because in school, in the playground, kids would always be running around, you know, as your child playing with skipping ropes, things like this. And I just felt really older than them.
Right. Okay.
I didn't do things that they did.
Yeah.
So that made me think, I'm different from them.
Okay. So from that, you moved away. Where did you live? Where did you stay?
I went back to my mum's house, but I was alone because I didn't have the company of my nephews. We all split up. My youngest nephew stayed with my nan still. My other nephew went to his dad's side of the family, and I went home to my mum's house. But my mum continued working 3 jobs, so I would never see her.
Right.
I would hardly see her.
So where did that lead to next?
I went to school. I didn't have like, a parent would usually wake you up. Oh, wake up, it's time to go to school. I wouldn't have that. I would go to school myself. And gradually my mum became ill because of the constant working. She became ill and she ended up staying at home. While she was at home, she became down in herself, depressed, I can say. She started to drink a lot as well. And this is when she met her husband. But he, for the first few months, everything was nice in terms of their relationship. But then he started to beat her.
Right.
I remember he used to beat her a lot. I would hear my mum cry. I would hear her beg him to stop. I would see her with like her eyes completely red, like bloodshot, swollen, constantly weeping. Her eye would be weeping. And it was horrible. It had an effect on me because when I'd go to school, I would be scared. I wouldn't be able to focus because
you probably had your mum on your mind all the time.
Every time the door went, I saw a teacher coming into the classroom, I would always think, they're coming to tell me that my mum's dead.
Right.
or my mum's in hospital, and this was constantly
So
going
is
on.
that fear, that paranoia,
Yes.
constantly,
Yeah,
every day at school?
yeah.
That must be really hard for you.
It was horrible. It was horrible because I couldn't focus. And it just felt like I was going there and just hearing words, but nothing was sinking in. Nothing was sinking in. And it was clear it wasn't sinking in because my grades were low. Then the school requested me to do extra classes, but I wouldn't go because I wanted to quickly, straight after the school bell would ring, I would run home because I just wanted to be home with my mum.
Now, with all of this going on, did you start doing the usual things that we hear young people do at that time, like, I don't know, taking drugs, drinking, clubbing? What did any of that happen to you?
Well, from the age of about 11 now, when my mum was married, I just, how can I say it? I rebelled because I thought to myself, you have the power to change the situation. You know, you're supposed to be my mum. You're the one who's supposed to be looking after me, not me looking after you, but you're not. And you're not changing the situation. You're living in this house with an abusive man and, you know. So what I started to do was then take out all my frustration on her. She'd ask me to do things, I wouldn't do it. Simple things. Anneka, wash the plates. I'd throw all the plates in the bin. Anneka, can you wash this? Or Anneka, can you clean that? No, I'm not your slave. Do it yourself. I would really give her attitude, really.
Would that be in front of your stepfather?
Yes, definitely.
And did he say anything to you?
No.
Right.
No, he never. And that really made me, it encouraged me because I would see that he wouldn't say anything to her. And my mum would never say to him, why don't you say something to her? And as well, I knew she couldn't complain to my dad because my dad wasn't around.
Yeah.
She couldn't complain to my sister. So I would do things to purposefully wind her up.
Right.
11, I started to go clubbing.
At 11 years old?
Yes.
Were there clubs for 11 years old? Or
It
was
was.
it you were old, you looked older than you
I've
were?
always looked older than my age, so nobody would ever ask me for ID. I would buy cigarettes. At 12, I was already smoking weed. 11, I was already involved with boys. Had my first relationship when I was 11. Nobody...
A sexual relationship?
Yeah.
At 11?
11 years old, yeah.
Okay.
Nobody would question me, so I just kind of done as I wanted. I would go away for 2 weeks and not tell my mum where I was.
And where would you go during those 2 weeks?
At my boyfriend's house or at my friend's house.
I'm sure your boyfriend wasn't 11 years old.
No.
How old was he?
At that time,
Yeah.
18.
18. And you were 11.
11.
And he obviously didn't know you
But
were
no,
11.
he knew my age. I would never lie about my age.
He knew you were 11 years old?
He knew I was 11. I would never ever lie about my age. People would always say, you're not 11. Or you're not this age. Everyone, until now, people believe I am my age, but nobody would ever know, no one would ever believe me when I'd say I am 11 or I am 12, or no one would ever believe me.
Okay. So this teenager, right? Your boyfriend, you know, he could have been done.
Yeah.
It could still be done today.
For sure.
Right? But you were, I'm still shocked by what I'm hearing here, but you know, you were suffering.
Yeah.
And you just wanted attention.
Yeah.
And this guy got it, this boy got it, gave it to you.
That's right, yeah.
So you would go out with him,
Yeah.
clubbing, and how were the drugs and stuff introduced to you? Was it through him?
No, it wasn't through him actually. It was on my 12th birthday. I messing around with friends, doing what teens do. I would go out, just be out late on the street messing around. And my friend, she smokes already. So she was like, oh, try. Take a pull of this. And I did. And, you know, it was just, at the time, fun. Everyone laughing at each other. So, yeah.
Tell us how, where did this progress from there?
From there, to be honest, it just got worse. I grew up, obviously, started to go secondary school. I would never go because I just simply didn't want to. I wasn't interested. My grades were already down. I didn't have any motivation at home anyway, so, you know, simple things like, oh, go for you're doing your exam this week. Yes, I am. Oh, good luck. I would never have that. So I didn't have any motivation. I wasn't pushed. Not pushed, encouraged. So I just didn't bother really.
So you would skip school sometimes?
A lot. My mum got so many letters home from the school. I had less than 60% attendance. And then I just completely lost interest really. I'd only go to school to catch up on the latest gossip and things like that. I didn't have any plans for the future. I wasn't interested. If people would ask me, what do you want to be when you're older? Don't know.
Please tell us about your, this partner of yours, boyfriend.
Yeah.
Why you stayed with him for how long?
It was only for like about a year.
You lived with him?
No. Oh, when I was younger or when I was older?
Well, when you were 11 years old with him, it was just
seeing each other.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't living with me.
But as things progressed, do I take it you stayed with, you met someone else, or was it the same person?
Yeah. So just before I turned 18, obviously before that, I met him when I was 15, but just before I turned 18, I moved out of home. I moved out of my house to live with my partner.
So this was someone else now?
Yeah. He was heavily involved in selling drugs, to be specific, crack cocaine. He was making good money off of it. He was selling it to his friends, parents, without his friends actually knowing that their parents were taking drugs.
Right.
It was just basically a fast-paced lifestyle.
So what we're talking about? Lots of money?
Lots of money.
He would obviously give you things?
Yeah, he would give me things. We would play with money. I could go to the shop and spend £300 in seconds and it would be nothing.
At age?
I had just turned 18.
So you'd go take £300
and spend it on rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
What are we talking about?
Shoes.
You still need shoes today, so it would be rubbish. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Would probably only wear once.
Okay.
Once in a blue moon, sorry. For example, I want to go to the shop to do a grocery shop. I would spend £300, £400 on food for the house, and then we would end up not eating in, we'd eat out, so it would all be wasted. We'd just spend money on
because the
rubbish.
money was coming in very quickly.
Like we had gadgets in the house, really expensive things.
Okay.
I do remember on one occasion when I invited my mom to actually come to my house, she was like so gobsmacked
at the things
things that were in the house, and I knew she wanted to ask, well, where is this money coming from? But she didn't ever have.
And you weren't working at the time, were you?
I was.
You was.
I
what were you
I
doing?
was working purposefully to cover over the drugs money, just so that I could always say, "But I'm working, so I could afford to buy this."
Yeah.
But really, my wage would nowhere near cover the things that were in our house.
Okay, I want to stop you there. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, you're going to hear, this is not all, because her life got worse. But also you're going to hear how things changed for her and why she's sitting here today with us sharing her story. So we'll see you after this break.
In life, there are problems that just hit you with a blow. Everything crumbles away and the heartache never seems to disappear. Everything keeps going wrong. You are in despair. What do you do when your hope isn't enough? When your single prayer seems to return unanswered and the persistent problem is still there? Partner with God and make a chain of prayer. A Chain of Prayer is a weekly series of uninterrupted prayer and action to tackle the most stubborn of problems. Make the chain of prayer and turn things around once and for all. Don't give up. Make a chain of prayer. It works.
So, maybe you're thinking about making some big changes or setting some ambitious goals for yourself. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds or read through the Bible. Maybe you want to run a marathon or repair a broken relationship. Whatever your big goal is, the temptation is to expect to go straight from here to here, or from here to here. The reality is, there are a lot of small steps between big decisions and big results. Challenges and obstacles await. At some point, you might even want to quit. But stand firm. Don't be disappointed with slow progress. Don't be overwhelmed by the destination. Rather, focus on what you can do today. Skip dessert. Read a chapter. Go for a run. Make a phone call. The more difficult the journey, the more rewarding the destination. And it can all start today with just one small step.
Uplifting.
Diverse. Vibrant. Dynamic.
Powerful. Youthful. Informative.
Energizing.
Passionate.
Motivational.
Freedom. Lively.
Excitement.
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. Tonight our topic is never give up. So let's see what the people on the streets of London have to say about this topic.
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and family as you want. It just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Hi, I'm Chica on the streets of London once again for Finding Answers. We all have dreams and we all want to achieve our dreams, but we all know there's always that obstacle that stops us. I'm finding out from the streets of London what they think usually stops them from their dream. Let's see what they say. Have you ever given up on a goal and why?
No, not really.
Yeah, I have given up on a goal, but that was due to family reasons why I had to give it up. It was either pursue the goal or lose something that was dear to me, so I had to give it up.
I have once, because it was making me really unhappy, and the balance between the goal and like how I felt was like not right anymore, so I just like gave up.
Never give up on your goals. If you do that, you're just going to fail in everything, so what's the point of even having a goal if you're just going to fail it?
So, as you heard there, and saw people's comments regarding goals and not giving up. if you are thinking of giving up on a dream, on a goal, stay tuned, because now you're going to hear how Anneka found a solution to everything that she's gone through so far. And actually, it got worse, Anneka, right?
Yes.
So tell us, with everything that you said before the break, what happened next?
I became depressed. Even though I had like all the materialistic things around me that I like, that people would like, enjoy, I became depressed because inside I was I still had pain from my past. A lot of questions that didn't go, that I didn't get answered. Yeah. So as I said, yeah, I was inside really down. Started to have panic attacks.
Tell us how the panic attacks were for you.
Really horrible. I would be sitting down and my heart would start racing uncontrollably. I would shake. I felt like the room was spinning. I couldn't breathe. Well, I was breathing really, really heavy. It was horrible. I constantly felt nervous. I became afraid.
Would that be at this time of the night, or would it be any time?
It would be any time.
Really?
Any time. And every time it would happen, I just became so fearful. I became fearful of life. I thought I was going to die. So every time it would happen, I would call the ambulance. If it would happen at work, I would just run out on the street and just ask for help.
To random people, total
random
strangers?
People, yeah, random people. Random people.
Did anyone think you were crazy?
Oh, yes, yes. I went to the hospital so many times. I went to the hospital so many times that I knew the faces of the ambulance people. I began to know their faces because I would call the ambulance all the time. Go to the hospital, they would run tests, they would ask me if I take drugs, all these things. It was so bad that I had to end up seeing a psychotherapist. And they told me, if you carry on like this, we're actually going to put you in a mental home.
So did they actually diagnose you with depression or panic attacks, or they didn't know what it was?
Yeah. After this happened, this kept on going on for about 6 months.
Right. And how often? Was that on a daily, weekly occurrence?
Panic attacks?
Yep.
Daily. At least 4 or 5 a day.
And what, do you call the ambulance every day?
Every day. Every day. Every day. So that's why they had to then put me to see a psychotherapist, because by then I had already refused. They tried to put me on antidepressants, my GP, and I said, no, I'm not taking it.
Right.
And then everyone else was like, no, don't take it.
Did you ever contemplate ending your life?
No, but I just always wished to not...
Wake up?
Yeah. No. Not wake up. I always wished to be someone else. And I would look at people and just think to myself, you know, you don't have a clue how much or what I'd give just to be in your shoes, to have 2 seconds of peace, because I couldn't sleep at night. I lost my appetite. I couldn't focus. I couldn't work properly. Obviously, because I wasn't working, bills were occurring. And I just...
And were you still with your partner?
No, by then I had run away from our house and I went back home to my mum, because she was the only one that I felt protected by.
Right.
Yeah.
Did things actually change with your mum by then, or were they still the same as when you left before?
Well, in regards to her partner?
Yeah.
No, her partner had left, so that had changed. She was just there by herself.
Okay. So look, before we hear how her life changed, if there's anything that you can relate to, if you feel as though, you know what, I feel alone, I have panic attacks, you know, I wish I could be in your shoes, I wish I could be in someone else's shoes, but I don't know how. You know, this problem I'm facing is controlling me. It's like I'm losing control of everything around me. Even though you may have people around you, you may have good friends, family members, a tight unit, you know, you have social circles, people are there for you, but yet you still feel alone. Remember, give us a call. There's someone there to help you, just as Anneka got the help as well. So let's hear now what happens. So today, you are happy.
I am, yeah.
No more panic attacks.
No more.
Depression.
Nope.
Drugs.
No.
Tell us how your life turned around?
Well, my mum, she had found out about a church that she was invited to. She asked me if I'd like to come. By then I was so desperate for help, that I accepted the invitation.
But your mum's life had changed, or she found an answer to her problems that she was going through?
Yeah, she did.
Do you know how long she was going to the church before?
To be honest with you, she was going to the church for about a year and a half, or almost 2 years. Right. She would invite me before, but I would never go.
Right.
I would never go. I just thought it was all commercial and things like this. So I would never take her up on the offer.
Did you ever notice any change in your mum?
Definitely.
What did you notice?
She was more... My mum's before, she was the kind of person who was always panicky, on edge. She wasn't like that anymore. She was much calmer inside. And she wasn't... She always used to worry a lot, which she didn't. I did notice a definite change in her.
So she was inviting you to go, which you kind of rebutted in the beginning. Yeah. But then you said, eventually you decided to go along.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
So tell us, how was that first day? How was it entering the church?
It was, to be honest with you, because I was so desperate for help, I was attentive to anyone. I mean, not attentive. I was grateful to anyone who would offer it. So I came to the church, and I was in a meeting of faith, and the message that was shared was so, it wasn't complicated. It was straight to the point. It was step by step, steps given in order to overcome certain areas of your life, or if you have issues. So what I did is I decided to attend some of the sessions that were happening in the church. And
now, was that for what you were going through?
Yes.
The panic attacks, the depression?
Yeah.
Right.
It was on a specific day, on a Friday, for panic attacks and depression. And I noticed that changes as I was applying myself to the lessons that were being taught, as I was being taught. I noticed small changes, and gradually panic attacks gone.
So you started receiving prayers?
Yeah.
And how long after that first visit did you start to see a change?
Okay, panic attacks stopped within 4 weeks.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
Completely. So you had them still, but not as often?
Yeah.
Is that right?
It was slowed down gradually. But something that I did notice instantly was that I was able to sleep at night.
So that first night you went home,
I was able to sleep for the first time in over 6 months.
Right. So I take it that was enough for you. Look, this place is great, it's good, it's helping.
Yeah.
I need to go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because to be honest with you, because when I went, although I went because I really needed help, I was so desperate, but I did go with something in the back of my mind. If I come here and nothing happens, then I'm just not going to come back. So
let me to cut you there. What was given to you? Tell the viewers at home, what was given to you that you were able to sleep well at night? What was it?
It was just the message. It was just the messages. Honestly, it was. Whereas before, if I went one or two times to the church when Mum would invite me, I would never listen. I would never listen.
Was it the message? Was it the prayer? What was it that?
It was the message, and then after the actual service, I did go and speak to the pastor, who then made a prayer for me. Yeah,
right.
And I felt so, how can I say, I don't know, inside I just felt different.
After the prayer?
Yeah, I just felt really different. I felt lighter. I felt like I wasn't judged. I was being listened to, because before that I was always told, oh, you need to take antidepressants, or you need to continue with your sessions at the psychotherapist. But I was being listened to, understood.
How grateful were you that your mum invited you?
Very, very.
And how was your relationship? I mean, before I ask that, you said that 4 weeks, the panic attacks eventually stopped.
Yeah.
What about the depression?
Well, it kind
Because
of
some people say that, you know, depression is incurable. You can't, there's no cure for it. Are you depressed?
No, I'm completely not depressed.
How long until that stopped?
To be honest with you, that went so quickly that I don't even remember.
Right.
I really don't remember. But yeah, it stopped. It did stop.
And how is your relationship with your mum today?
Very good. We're really close.
Yeah.
We do things together.
You both attend the same church?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And you said you just said now you do things together?
We do. Actually, me, my mum, and my sister, who was in prison,
right.
we both attend the same church.
So there's been a complete change in your family?
Yes.
And you mentioned that there's no more selling drugs.
No.
You know, there's none of that kind of fast-paced lifestyle. You're not looking for any guy. Are you in a relationship now, or?
No, not
You're
yet.
not?
No.
Do you know now, have you learnt your lesson from the past in terms of guys?
Most definitely.
Yeah, what have you learnt there?
It's not, to be honest, before, what attracted me most about him was the fact that he had money and he was cool and, you know, popular out there. He was attracted to fast lifestyle things. But now, I mean, I would pay more attention to the inner detail.
Right.
His character, not just his appearance, his character, the way he is, how he treats people, his dreams, the way he looks at his future, things like that.
Okay. Look, thank you for coming on the program and sharing your story with us.
No problem.
All right. Now, if you feel exactly, if there's anything that Anneka said that you can relate to, maybe you have the money, maybe you're living this fast-paced life. You think you're happy taking drugs or drinking alcohol, but you know within you're not happy. One prayer was all it took for a sign from God. She was able to sleep well that first night, which for her was a sign, I need to go back there. So maybe you don't have a friend or a relative, someone close to you that has invited you to a church for prayer, but you've got the helpline. You've got this number now that you can call and receive that one prayer that could start the ball rolling, that could make things change for you forever. So if you are going through any problems now and you say, you know what, I've given up. She hasn't given up. Actually, she's moving on in her life. And you can do the same thing. So we're going to go for a break. Before we do, pick up the phone if you want for that prayer. And at the end of the program, I will be praying for you. Get your glass of water ready. All right? So let's go for the break. We'll see you after this.
Hi, the Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
The pursuit of happiness. What will make you happy? Success? Fame? New shoes? Financial security? Love? Education? Independence? Family? Sometimes in the pursuit of things we think will bring us happiness, sometimes we fail to see that we aren't happy or we never find it. We live in a world of people. Rather than pursue things to make you happy, what if we all worked to make each other happy? Wouldn't we all be happier?
So ladies, it's lovely to have you in the studio with me. I'm rather excited.
Does character matter?
If you're married, you shouldn't be flirting with somebody else on that. Forward and back. Forward and back. Roll on the knee.
Relationships and money, can the two really work?
Absolutely. I think that appearance is important.
How do you define
character?
And you want to have that perfect house, but you've got to realise everything happens at the right time.
I've got a friend who puts all her business on Facebook, and I just can't stand to read it. You're learning already. Do you cook at home?
Yes, I cook.
Mr. Right is just right under your nose.
You get a checklist, but that checklist becomes a shopping list.
But in life, sometimes it's good to be different.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, before we go for the prayer, think about this with me. If you're thinking of giving up on life, let's take the worst case scenario. You're thinking of ending your life, or at least you're thinking of giving up on a dream. You don't think that what you want, what you've always wanted to achieve, you can achieve now. Maybe because of certain things that went wrong in your life, like Anneka said, and you want to end your life. Think with me. There are people who are in hospital now, who are in ICU with pipes, right, from every orifice of their body, the doctors are trying to revive that patient. The doctors are trying to save that person's life. Family members are around that person, willing that person, even praying for that person to live. That person may not be unconscious or in a coma, but they want to live. So they haven't given up on life. There are some people that do want to give up. You know, they say, I can't take it anymore. God, take my life even. They want God to take their life. But actually, God doesn't want to do that. God, if he sees that there is an opportunity for you to live, he wants you to live. And I don't mean physically live. I mean live a life of greatness, a life of fullness. So why would you want to end your life? Just because certain things have gone wrong for you. And that's why this topic for tonight is called Never Give Up. Never lose hope. Because there are people around you, close to you. And even if they're not, this program, everyone who works here on this program is willing for you to live, wants you to achieve your life's goals. So why should you give up? That's why we offer the prayer at the end of the program. That's why we have the helpline number for you to call and speak to someone. And that person you are speaking to has not been paid to give advice. That person has received help as well. And, you know, they have the experience. They can tell you what God has done in their lives. So when they pray for you, when they talk to you, when we pray for you on this program, we are talking from experience. We're talking from what God has done for us. So don't give up. Even if you feel strange in praying now, maybe you're a regular viewer and you find it strange to pray, but you like what you see and what you hear on the program. Well, get your glass of water ready, because try something different now. At least close your eyes, at least involve yourself in the prayer. Who knows? Tonight could be the night you sleep well. Tonight can be the night that your life starts to change. Get your glass of water ready. It's time for prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer and include you in the Finding Answers prayer book, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray for every viewer who has joined me in this prayer, who doesn't want to give up on life. They have so much problems, so many difficulties that they've gone through. The easiest thing to do is to say, I give up. I wish my life could end tonight. I wish I could go to bed and never wake up again. My God, with you, as we know, there is nothing that's impossible. There's nothing too hard for you. So no matter what this person's situation is, if they have a health issue, if they are down, depressed, they have panic attacks, Lord, no matter how bad their situation is, I pray now that you help this person, that you give them a sign tonight, now during this prayer. If there's been anything negative surrounding their lives, anything that's been tormenting this person inside, they don't have peace, they don't have joy, they look in the mirror and they don't like the reflection back. My God, I pray that you help this person. Whether they know us or not, whether they look at this program, a regular viewer or there for the first time, my Lord, those you see are desperate. They want an answer. So provide it for them now. I bless this water in the name of Jesus Christ. And when you sip it now, when you drink it, receive a new beginning. You can achieve whatever you wanted to. Whatever knocked you down, it's not going to knock you down anymore. So be blessed now in the name of Jesus Christ. Drink this water and be renewed. Okay, listen, you've drunk the water, you've received the prayer. I will stay behind for a few minutes after the program goes off air. If you want to speak to myself or you want to speak to Anneka, you can do so. We are here for you. We're willing to stay behind to take your call, to help you, to give you any advice that you need. All right? But don't give up. Stay tuned, because tomorrow we're going to have another program, another real life story of someone who, through the power of faith, through prayer, changed their lives. We'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.